So today I've decided to use natural light, so we'll see how that goes. Hi guys, so I'm back here today to finally film the final part of my how I got into Cambridge / A-level experience video, which will be about year 13. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series. I hope it's been informative and that it helps you with your future applications, not just to Oxbridge but to uni in general. And yeah, I hope you found it useful. So yeah, I'll just like stop talking and get straight into the video. So as you guys know, I've made videos previously about my A-level experience and how I got into Cambridge. I did a video about why year 12 isn't useless and Oxbridge applications specifically. I will link those in the bottom. In the future, I will be coming out with videos not necessarily related to Cambridge but related to university and A-levels and GCSEs as a whole. So things to do with revision and organisation and things to do with personal statements. So keep a lookout for those, and hopefully I'll start vlogging my time in Cambridge. I'll leave that as a surprise as to when I do it, but hopefully that is something I can start doing because I know that you guys would be interested in kind of seeing the behind the scenes. So I guess it's appropriate to start with extracurricular activities. So after year 12, once I sent off my uni application on October, whenever it was, me and extracurricular activities kind of parted ways because I thought, look, yeah, I've applied to uni and you know, year 13 really is the year where you just want to put your head down and get the grades you need to get to uni, because it's all well and good getting the offers. I've always said this, you can get as many buff offers as you like, but if you don't get the grades, then you're not going to the uni. So all that effort would have been kind of nullified if you don't get to where you want to be. So in year 12 I did run for head girl. That's a different story in itself. I didn't get it and I got offered the position of deputy, but when I was thinking about, you know, taking Cambridge seriously, taking my application to Cambridge seriously, I decided not to take that role. And when I did go to the Cambridge masterclass, they said, look, we don't care if you're head girl or head boy. They don't care about that. They care about super curricular activities. So that's why I wasn't really focused on extracurricular activities like playing sports or playing an instrument and stuff like that, or the role of deputy head girl, because I thought, okay, that's not specifically what they're looking for, so I don't entirely need that role. So I just decided to literally just streamline everything I was doing to my application, and whatever wasn't supporting my application had to go, basically, if that makes sense. Like, literally you realize in that year 13 how fast time goes and how precious it is. So you really have to be careful with what you put your time into. So once I got into year 13 and I sent off my application, me and extracurricular activities literally parted ways, which probably isn't the best thing. I would suggest, like, if you want to like carry on and do as much extracurricular activities as you can, because when it comes to applying for jobs, that's what's important. But nearing exam time, I would slow down just to focus on exams. But yeah, I believe for me in year 13, extracurricular activities weren't really that important. Not doing many extracurricular activities allowed me to focus on my studies. And as well, if you're gonna do extracurricular activities and be in a relationship, you're gonna like waste a lot of time. Like, trust me, being in a relationship, people advise against it, but I don't think it's that bad. I got through it fine, and I know a couple of other people that got through it fine, but I've also seen examples of where it's just not gone well, like at all. So I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that triangle where at the top it's grades, on the left it's sleep, and on the right it's social life, and it says pick two. And I do really feel like that's what A-levels are, like you literally have to pick two. And me, I'm focused on my grades and getting my sleep, so literally I had a minimal social life. I'm telling you, like, I don't know, like I just didn't feel it was that important to, you know, be going out all the time and stuff like that. So I sacrificed my social life for sleep and academics, and I guess that sacrifice paid off. So think about what you would pick and why. I mean, it is possible to pick grades and social life, and then it's possible to pick sleep and social life. But yeah, it just depends on what's a priority to you and why. One thing that really scared me, basically, I thought that I just needed A star AA in any order to get to Cambridge, like Durham's offer. But when they said that I needed that A star in English specifically, that's what scared me more than anything. So I was like, yeah, I really need to like put my head down to ensure that I get that A star in English, because it is difficult when the institution asks you to get a grade in a specific subject. Like, it's so much pressure, but yeah, that's one of the things I did. So as well, kind of related to extracurricular activities, I had a part-time job. So my job was every weekend or every other weekend for up to 4 hours, I would work with a young girl on the autistic spectrum, and yeah, take her out. So it didn't exert too much stress on me, but I did stop around May. I did stop after April or during April into May, and I think I stopped in May just to allow me to just focus on my studies as well. I know not everyone has the luxury of not being able to work, so if that is something that does pertain to you, then maybe again think about that triangle, think about making sacrifices and what sacrifices there are to make. Because that's a big thing about year 13, it really is about sacrifice and balance, because you will sacrifice most of your time to study. So another big thing in year 13 will be coursework. So in terms of coursework, that's the reason why I dropped history, because I knew I did not want to do history coursework beside English coursework. Like, I could not hack it, I wouldn't be able to hack it, and my writing is bad enough as it already is, so I knew I wouldn't be able to handle doing history coursework and English coursework. So what I would advise is that you stay on top of it. Just get it done as soon as possible. As you may know, obviously I applied to Cambridge. The application process is one of the hardest things and time-consuming things you'll ever go through. I mean, I found it more difficult than exam season in year 13 because it just takes a lot out of you. It takes so much time, and because of that, I wasn't able to concentrate on my English coursework. So I literally did not read my English coursework books. Like, it's tragic. Like, I did not do the work I was meant to do because I was so focused on that. But my teacher did let me catch up once offers came in and stuff like that. I really did have to then spend a lot of time catching up on perfecting my coursework, and that was so difficult because, you know, it's really hard to juggle an Oxbridge application and coursework. Well, it was for me. So my coursework kind of took the fall because of it, and that's really bad. Like, that's really risky as well. So like I said, it's about you finding that balance and just reminding yourself that coursework really is important. In my coursework, I got 4 marks, and because I got those 4 marks, it allowed me to kind of, if I wasn't perfect in exams, kind of like balance that out. So if you do know you struggle with exams, put your best effort into coursework, because that's what can really lift up your grade, and it is a really important part of your A-level. Like, imagine being able to get 20% of your grade just like that, just by doing, like, just by putting in the time, if that makes sense. So really do focus on your coursework. Now, another thing I wanted to discuss is timetables, revision timetables. That's all you hear in revision videos. Make timetables, make a timetable, make a timetable. Okay, I made a timetable during Christmas holiday. Never used it once. After that, I just knew timetables weren't for me. I cannot stick to revision timetables. They just don't work. I couldn't at GCSE, and I think I could at AS. I think they were helpful to me, but at A2, for me personally, I just couldn't stick to a timetable because I felt like it doesn't work like that. So what I would do is just have a really detailed list of all the topics and areas I need to cover or haven't covered, and then just go through them when I have the time. Because another thing is, like, sometimes you're not always feeling one subject, or sometimes you're not always feeling one topic. So doing it that way allowed me to just do it in any order, but ensure that I am doing it, that I will get it done. So I just don't find revision timetables useful. Didn't have one in Easter holiday, didn't have one in the lead up to exams. Like, I would just work on what I knew I needed to work on, and yeah, that's how I did it. But if you use a timetable and it works for you, go ahead. But I feel like to not use a timetable, you'd really have to know what you're doing. Like, you have to be really organized if you want to ditch the timetable. But I will go into revision organization videos and explain a bit more about why I find timetables useless in future videos, by like practically showing you my work and my folders and stuff. But yeah, the revision methods that you use might be something you want to look into as well, because sometimes it's not always the most efficient, or sometimes you're lying to yourself. That's what I found revision timetables did for me. They made me feel comfortable and lie to myself that I would actually like stick to one, and yeah, that just didn't happen, so I didn't use them. But yeah, just find out what works for you. So another thing about balance, the thing about doing photography A-level, people cuss me all the time because I did photography, but it was the most time-consuming subject that I had. I spent from about, I'd say January to April, I spent the most amount of my time on photography. That means I did last minute revision for geography and English. Anyway, photography really is time consuming, like, and it just took so much effort. And like, if you have a coursework subject or a subject where it is coursework orientated, I know the pain and I know how many hours you're spending on your work. My regret would be that I didn't balance my time as well as I should have to allow me to focus on geography and English as well. So I was just doing like intense photography. But yeah, in hindsight, I would be a more balanced person and do things accordingly. But yeah, try and find that balance between your more academic subjects and your creative subjects. Try and find the balance between the subjects that require coursework and exams and your subject that maybe purely relies on coursework. Because so at the start of the Easter holidays, I went to Amsterdam for my photography. Like, I am so extra. Guys, I do the most for every single one of my subjects. I did the most, and you'll see in the future what I mean by that, but I just did so much. But yeah, I can't remember Easter holidays very clearly, but I reckon that's when I would have got my photography out of the way gradually, and then started gradually focusing on English and geography. And with a lot of that, I went to the library, and I went to school sometimes to do work, and stayed back at school to do work, and I used my room. So you really have to think about the environment you want to work in and try and switch it up. And when you go to the library, don't go with your friends. don't go with your friends, don't go with a friend to the library. I am not a person that goes to the library with other people because you just have to get your work done. You have to get it done. I was that person in the library in the lead up to exam season with a suitcase. I bought a mini suitcase to the library full of all my folders because I have multiple lever arch folders for one subject. So for English I had 4 lever arch folders, and for geography I had 4 lever arch folders or something like that. I had 8 lever arch folders between 2 subjects basically. So I was always that person trekking to the library with my pencil case, my laptop, my folders. And that's the thing I was saying about revision timetables. Because I'm a person that can go to the library in the morning and leave when it closes. So that's why I can't create a revision timetable, because I don't know what I'm going to do for all those hours. So I don't plan, I just go with the flow, if that makes sense. Because sometimes I may have spent 2 hours on geography and then switched to 1 hour of English, and then maybe did a half an hour of this topic in geography and then a half an hour of this topic in English. So it's so varied like that I didn't find the need to create a timetable. So yeah, I would say 90% of the time I spent like full days at library. So that's why I needed my suitcase. But I wouldn't just like sit there. Like, my revision technique I will go into in another video, but when I used to revise or make notes, I put on a show on Netflix that I'm familiar with. So I put on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and have it in the background and do my notes. People make revision sound like a chore, but there are so many ways and so many things that you can do to make it enjoyable. So I'll make a video about revision hacks because I feel like it doesn't need to be a chore. Like, I actually enjoyed my time at the library. That's why I went multiple times, but yeah. Okay, in terms of going out, if you do choose to prioritize social, don't let anyone tell you that you can't go out, because you can. Like, if I wasn't going out, I was sleeping anyway, so I was wasting time. So it is fine to go out, it's not a crime. Obviously moderate yourself and don't get too carried away, but it is important to just get out there and to enjoy life. Obviously, being in a relationship, I was out quite a lot and I enjoyed my Valentine's Day, honey. Like, don't kind of make it seem like you have to be in solitary confinement just staring at books, because that's not what it's like. Slow down on going out. The closer you get to exam season, I would slow down on going out. So I think that is it for me in terms of my video about my year 13 experience. Obviously, to make this advice more practical, I will be doing videos in the future about revision tips and revision hacks and going into more detail about my subjects and how I was getting through everything. Year 13, in hindsight, it was stressful at the time, it was long at the time, it was hard at the time. In hindsight, that was the best academic year of my life because I enjoyed everything I was doing and I wanted to do everything I was doing, so it was just such an enjoyable time for me. And in hindsight, going into detail into 3 different subjects, at the time I used to complain about it, but I actually do miss it because you just get, it's just so broad and you just get to learn different things and link what you're learning together, and I just loved year 13. So please, if you're feeling stressed about year 13, know that when you get to uni, you'll miss it, because everyone who lied and said, oh, don't worry about A-levels, when you get to first term of uni, you'll be chilling, don't worry, uni's not stressed. Everyone who said that is a liar, because, but yeah, enjoy year 13 because it is there to be enjoyed. You trust me, like, first term can be intense. Obviously, it's not as bad as year 13, but it can be intense. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy yourselves. Like, enjoy what you're learning, indulge yourself and immerse yourself in what you're learning, and that's how you will succeed and get the grades that you need. And yeah, more practical advice will be coming up. Thank you so much for watching this series. Like, thank you so much, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it was useful. Like, I really hope that it was useful, because I can't imagine having to sit there and listen to my voice. On YouTube, I'm like so watered down and I don't know what it is, but anyway, I just hope that you enjoyed the series. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you later. Bye.